As for Masterson, his iron might rain down throwing strikes. He has struck out. He is now retired.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Justin Masterson Show. I already got my guy over there and smiles who's hanging out with me because it's not just me. And it's not my usual guy, Mr. Matthew Zappasodi. I got with me Mr. TC Baker. How you doing, man?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
We got TC in town. You know, he's traveling. He's on a little vacation, and he's got his little moped that he's driving around.
Moped? Really? You gonna do me dirty like that? It's a large motorcycle.
Okay, so maybe it's a large motorcycle, but he's in town, and he reluctantly decided to be on the show with me.
Good word. Yes.
So
reluctantly.
I'm excited to have him on here because.
But it was a nice check. I appreciate it. You paid me to come on here.
Yeah. Well, of course I got to pay you on here because all I can think about is the one time that you were on a landscaping crew.
Yeah.
And
here we go.
And how did the landscaping job go for you?
I was laid off.
But weren't you good at your job?
I was good at working, but not talking. So
you got laid off because you didn't talk.
I was laid off because I didn't talk enough for landscaping. I worked hard.
Oh.
Team chemistry.
Oh, that's what I love.
Bunch of crap.
That's my guy.
Team chemistry.
That's my guy. TC right there. So we're thankful to have him today. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a good show. I will say this. I'll give a little. Last week, last episode, it wasn't my A game. Zappo did a great job. I felt decently good about it. But if I were to put it into my baseball terms, it was like I was the starting pitcher. I gave my team, 7 or 8 innings, but I still gave up about 4 or 5 runs. So it's just outside a quality start, but still like good enough for victory, if my guys put some runs together. I mean, TC, have you ever had that experience in your life where you give up, you go deep into the ball game, but you just give up enough runs?
I never made it deep into a ball game.
You were a pitcher, though.
I was a thrower. Right? I was not a pitcher. I was a thrower.
Oh, he's a thrower. He's an athlete.
Somewhat of an athlete.
Yeah, I mean, we played together at Bethel College. You were.
I watched you played.
Well, that might be true.
Let's just be honest. I have no ego anymore. We're in our 40s, man.
Yes.
So,
no, but it was.
I watched you played.
You did. But hey, if the strike zone would have been
from the eyes
right here,
don't be generous. That's generous. From the eyes.
Yeah, if it was right here to here, you would have thrown a bazillion strikes because you could hit that spot perfectly and never miss.
But it helped my coaching career. I got to watch a lot and become a coach.
That's true.
It took me into a 10-year journey of coaching.
Yeah, and that was fun. And if we had, all the time in the world, we would go through all these things because I think they're really, really cool. So it means, barring, legal issues, maybe we'll have TC on the show again sometime. And
maybe.
We can talk through it.
Legal. We'll find out later.
Or maybe right now you
this
won't
will
even
never
get to
be.
see him.
This will never be aired. We have not heard back. So.
Oh, but I'm gonna go, thinking of baseball and that idea of that quality start, which in baseball, if you go 6 innings at least and give up 3 runs or less,
it's a good start.
Yeah, they call that a quality start. Yeah. And so in this show, Todd, TC, I should say, we have, usually an It's All Part of It segment, which is kind of like something crazy or something interesting or whatever happens. And then, at the end, you're just like, well, it's all part of it. That's just the way it is. And then try to have a little masty moment, which is just, tell a story, some things that maybe I think about. And then we get into kind of the meat and potatoes. But I'm kind of skipping the It's All Part of It for the moment because, one, there's probably plenty, but I didn't think about it. But I was thinking more of a masty moment. When we're thinking about quality starts, it makes me think of my guy, Roy Halladay.
Great pitcher.
Oh yeah, he was. He was one of my favorite pitchers. And you remember?
I
Roy?
remember. Yeah.
What do you remember about him? Anything?
His
particular?
later days, like when he really became into his own, like nasty, hit the ball well, good movement. Movement on top of good location, which is tough to do.
Yes, it's tough to do, but he was fun. He was good, and as you said, even his later days, like he kept getting better. Had a heavy sinker also, and then mixed in a cutter later on.
Redeveloped himself.
Yeah, and so what I loved, well, the unfortunate thing was he died in a plane crash.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, he was piloting the plane. And I don't know the all ins and outs details. He's kind of flying, I think in New York, maybe the skyline around somewhere. And then I don't know if the plane crashed in the river or what. I could probably look it up and would know. I mean, if Zappa was here, he'd probably be looking
up
do
stuff.
you have a computer over
I don't
there,
have
TC,
anything.
in order
No.
to look some things
I'm
up?
old school. I got notepads over here. Sticky notes everywhere.
Sticky notes in front of you. But either way, what was so neat about Roy is that I followed him, played some of the time that he was there, but he signed a baseball for me, and he's one of the few baseballs autographs that I have. It's him. I wrote him down just so I wouldn't forget. I got him. He got my brother. His ball signed there. My good buddy Bruce Billings, who loved the dude. Another San Diego State guy, Addison Reed. Alex Gordon, because he hit a bazillion homers off of me. My guy Mike Timlin, we were in Boston together.
Yeah.
Miguel Cabrera as a Triple Crown. Mariano Rivera, greatest closers ever of all time.
The greatest.
And then my favorite is Andy Schock.
Oh,
which
I don't know that one.
You probably have no idea who
No.
Andy Schock is. The ball that I have, that was the first homer that was hit at the BCAA fields in Beaver Creek,
There you go.
and he was the pitcher.
Nice. That's good.
Oh, it was good, and he's still
Not
good.
all of them. That's like the best one.
Well, and he's still one of my really good buddies today. So we get to go golfing at least once a year with ourselves, and I talk to him, in between time. So it's great and it's fun. But on Roy Halladay's ball, it said, all the best, keep rolling. Like he did it for me. It was awesome. But he had this never quit mentality. Like I took from him was this fact of it doesn't matter how hard you're throwing, how good you're pitching, whatever it is, if you can stay in a ball game until the 7th or 8th or even the 9th inning, like you've done your duty for your team. Like if you happen to give up 5 runs, okay. If you've given up 0, perfect. But it was like in his mind, it didn't matter. Like if I gave up 5 runs in the 2nd inning, like Roy, which I saw him do one time, he gave up 5 in the 2nd, got out of it, and then still pitched the complete game. Like he talked about he made the adjustments and of his career, like as he reinvented himself, did some different things. But even just within a ball game, like I just thought that was something that was really incredible. Did you ever notice that about him or think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like any athlete, your team respects that. Sometimes you got to adapt with every pitch, It's not what happened in the bullpen is not going to happen out there sometimes. And so it just as best as anybody else. Anybody can make the adjustment in game quicker than the other opponent, and your team respects that, man. If you can go out there and eat innings and you didn't give up, and your team respects that like a whole bunch. They see you out there working, like it's just awesome. But back then it was different though. Today's game is a little bit different mentality wise, a little shorter leashes sometimes. But as a team, you see that, you respect a guy hardcore on that. He goes out there and battles like, yeah, he didn't give up, didn't mentally get down. You give up 5, nobody won, in the first inning, but you went out there and gave up none the next 5, 6 innings, and 8 saved the bullpen. So you went out and you wore it, and it didn't help your ERA at the beginning, but you didn't give up. So
right. I mean, in the end, I like how you said mentally we're able to kind of push through it and get through it, because that's kind of the point that was coming into my brain when I was thinking about the story ever so slightly, was the fact that like how often in life, or we see it in games, because you've coached baseball a long time, been around it, for a long time also. So you get it, you see it, you watch it just as much as I do, that these individuals, when the adversity starts coming, and then all of a sudden they're lost.
Mhm.
Now it happened to me at times
Happens
when
to
I was
everybody.
younger.
Yeah.
Even in the big leagues, you give up that big inning, and then all of a sudden it's like, they're still hitting me. And some days, teams just have your number. But was thinking about like how we can work. Like, it was impressive to see how he wouldn't let whatever difficulty came affect him for the rest of the time. He wasn't like, oh no, that got me. Like countless be like, oh, I was great in the bullpen and now I'm not good out here. What am I gonna do? Oh no. And then they just fall off and they have nothing going for them. And then all of a sudden it's like they're done.
Yep.
Even in the midst of it.
Yep.
And I think that's the hard thing. I'm sure you've seen a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's especially at pitches, like, you know it better than anybody, but one pitch isn't working, then all of a sudden younger guys would get away from it because they don't trust it. Your confidence level goes down, but a guy with experience, been in the trenches, has been through it, sometimes younger guys are like, oh, I'm gonna get pulled. Crap, I got a short leash. But no, you just find your way to work way through it, and sometimes they get the best of you, but you just keep battling, and sometimes you got to learn to either get away from your stuff and find another way, or stick with your stuff and just trust it. And yeah, a bad inning, but just kind of work through it mentally, but that comes with experience.
Yeah.
So I mean, the best experience, that's the best life teachers is experience, finding how to get through it and learning, and then you can't teach that sometimes.
Sometimes experience is not fun, though.
No, it's not.
I don't really always. I wish I didn't have to experience it and can just get to the next level or wherever I'm trying to be. Like,
well, you're
can't I
either
just
going to
be better
grow
at
from
it?
experience or you're not. That's your choice. So I mean, it's that's life.
Yes, that is life, and that's the way it happens. But that's why I love that little story, because I love Roy Halladay. I love watching him and just his ability. I think it's in life where we can take some of those things, which I think sports and life always come together, of the ability to just kind of take a little bit of the punches, but know that, hey, I'm not going to let that just bring me down. I'm still going to give my best effort. I'm still going to figure out a way to get from here to there. Yeah. And some of it might just be because I got to prove something to myself. But I think ultimately it's like, man, I know those guys in the bullpen have been overworked.
Yeah.
So I don't want them to have to come in the game. Like, if they come in the third inning, well, then shoot, like, they're going to be taxed for the next week, unfortunately. Yeah. But if I can limit that, and certain guys will be like, well, I tried to, but then they took me out. It's like, well, because you still weren't good. Yeah. Like, you can't come out the next inning and then walk the first guy, walk the second guy, and then all of a sudden be like, I don't know, they took me out. Because you weren't good.
Yeah, at some point you got to pull the string on that one. It's time to go. Cut the leash.
Yes. Well, I'll say that I bet there are some people in your life who's listening, watching this, whatever, who have impacted you. Maybe you're close to them. Maybe you weren't. I mean, go ahead and put that in the comments. Shane, I know you're going to put something in there anyways, but somebody other than Shane, he can put something in the comments if you like. Because, I mean, I got tons of people who have affected me. I mean, we got, TC across the way who has affected me, which there's kind of an it's all part of it that could go with us. Well, there's countless, because Meryl wanted to be a part of one of the it's all
Meryl.
parts of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
Meryl.
she would like to be it's all part of it because you took her on a ride.
Motorcycle ride, not a moped. No.
Yeah, not a moped.
On my motorcycle.
It's a Gold Wing. I don't know the official.
1800.
Gold Wing 1800. Yeah. It's the cruiser.
Touring bike.
There we go. Bike. Yeah. So it's pretty. Maybe I'll put a picture.
Don't call my bike pretty.
Hey man, it is. I'm gonna put a picture on it. I'm gonna say right here. We're gonna go
find another word than pretty.
It's pretty right there. See, I'm gonna put it right there, and it's gonna be pretty. Boom. But no, she took a ride. And it was so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
We weren't even out of fourth gear. It's fast. How fast are we going? 50. Not even out of fourth gear yet.
Oh, it was so much fun. Just the wind in her hair.
You never rode, man. It's hard to explain. If you haven't rode, everybody has their way of getting out, releasing off steam, but just the freedom of riding, can't explain it. So, everybody has their own thing. So that's mine.
Yeah. Well, TC and I go back, quite a ways, at least 20 years.
2005. You're
Yeah.
my junior year and your freshman year.
Yeah, 20 years. And I think about this, and this is not to hate on any of our coaches that we had when we were at Bethel College, because our head coach is still there. Really great guy.
Great guy.
Like, good people. One of our assistants, I see his wife often, Emily. She'll come by camp, and every once in a while she'll be down here in the Indianapolis area because there's some alumni around here, and get to see her. Just a saint of a woman. And her husband was one of our assistant coaches. And I only say not him because he got a little frustrated because when I was pitching and you were watching, as you said earlier when we were at Bethel.
I watched a lot.
Yeah, you watched a lot. But you were there when my sophomore year when we were playing catch.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden my ball just started moving. And I remember you going like, what was that? Like, what did you do there? And I go, I don't know. I just held it like this. And
This
threw
or
it.
that. Oh, do it again.
And like do it again. And so I did, and it was able to do it again and again, and it became more of a put away pitch than necessarily a pitch I threw all the time. But all of a sudden, I had this heavy sink that ended up propelling me to where I ended up being in my career. But in between there, I had an understanding of how to pitch and what to do, but respected you. So every once in a while, I'd look over at the bench and I look at you.
I remember these.
Right?
Yeah, I remember that now.
And then you
kind
of give the, I can't remember if you gave the head nod or you give like the finger. I can't remember what it was.
Suggestion.
Yeah, but then you suggest like, hey, this is a good time to kind of, throw this pitch. And one of our coaches, got a little frustrated and was like, hey, if you're unsure what to throw, like I can help you out. And I was like, well, it's not that I'm unsure of what to throw. It's just the right timing of a certain pitch at a certain moment. So for like 90%, 95% of my pitching, I'm good. But it's that one moment where then I look over and go,
it's just an idea. Maybe this is a good opportunity.
Okay.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah. All right. Let me try this out. And then we do that. And so it did cause a little frustration in
I forgot about that.
In a certain individual.
Life happens.
But it's okay. I mean, he was working through, some control issues and whatever, was a great influence in our lives and other things. And so it was good, but it's just that journey of it of, we're together. You had experience, like you'd gone through injuries. You were currently working through,
Injuries.
You had played at a top level, University of Tampa, where they were winning championships over and over. You'd been an outfielder who just crushed balls, and then you were relegated to be pitcher. I mean, shoot, even in high school, you broke a dude's shin playing soccer.
So I hear. I remember the moment. I didn't know it was broke, but obviously a friend of ours was on that team, the other team, and years later he brought that up and said I did break the guy's leg. But I do remember the moment when it happened, but I didn't know it was broke at the time. So
that's a powerful kick to break a dude's leg.
Or just a freak accident.
Or it could be, or you just got a powerful, and it's crazy to think like such a powerful kick coming out of you. When like now we look at you.
What do you mean coming out of you? What's that?
Well, let's look. Now we look at you and I see, nice, burly, strong
mid-40s,
man. Yeah. But the TC that we had back in the day,
high school, yeah,
he was
a little skinny,
a little bit slenderer than where you are now.
Nice way to put it.
And you're in a healthy spot of strength, like you're not overweight or anything like that, but you were super duper skinny, like back in the day.
I was a late bloomer.
Yeah. I mean, as we like to say, you were way more attractive than you were back then.
That's true. I've seen some pictures. And I'm an honest guy, man. It's just like I was not. Yeah. Wow.
Yep. That's well, I'm never coming on this show again.
Yeah. It's edited. I learned it was edited, so
yeah, it can be. We can edit it out if we need to.
We can.
But we don't have to.
You don't have to.
It can work out just fine. That's why I said lifestyle, meaning try and keep it relatively the flow.
Think
of what
like you're live. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's got, it could have awkward pauses and things like that. And, me rubbing my nose here or there. Not that that's what we want to have, but
No, I haven't done that yet.
no, you haven't. But I'm gonna find one and then maybe put that in there.
Yeah.
But that's kind of it's all part of it when we were going through it. But I'd say the meat and potatoes this week is we had, we're going through some of, maybe not every law, but some of the laws of Frank Viola, one of my favorite authors, kind of a mentor from afar book, 48 Laws of Spiritual Power, kind of reclaiming this power of the Spirit within our lives and the things that we do that kind of keep us from that. And so like last week is like, don't hurt God's people. And so we talked through that. If you need to hear more on that, go check out the episode. I'd say I'd link it, but I don't know what I'm doing on these things, so I don't really know how to link it. But you can go find it on the YouTube page or somewhere else.
The guy that does is not here right now.
Yeah. The guy that does not hear.
The intelligent one with the tech savvy.
But then again, even if he was here, do it. Yeah, I mean, yeah. He doesn't even always know, and I'm the one trying to upload them. And yeehaw! It's an intern who wants to work for free. And
That's what an intern is.
Yeah, and
Pay your dues.
do this stuff for me. Just reach out, Masty at the Justin Masterson Show.live. Please, that'd be great. We have a lot of fun, and I won't pay you. But the meat and potatoes we got today is law number 2 is do not be a people pleaser, which in the world that I see today and around, and it looks differently for each person. I think we have snippets of people pleasing that wants to creep in at times. We've had it at times. We've gotten rid of it, at other times. I think back to like 7th grade for me when I was sure of my identity, but a little unsure. Like since kindergarten, I wanted to play Major League Baseball and tell people about Jesus. And crazy enough, I've been able to do both of those and still doing, one of them. And yet in 7th grade, I remember when I wore my fancy jeans for the first time in a while because I was a sweatpants and shorts guy. I get into is a new school. We're in the middle school, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And I'm in my first class, and I have some people from my elementary school who are there, and they see me with jeans on, and they're like, Justin, okay. Like, I'm feeling good about myself. And then I go, I think I still remember, I was in reading, and there were these girls who were from different elementary school, didn't know them, and they were, more of the, what's the show, or there's TV series, the girls who are not very nice. It might just be Mean Girls.
Mean Girls.
Yeah. I think it might
it's Mean Girls.
Yeah. So they are, turns out to be the Mean Girls, and just looked at me and were like, "You are fat and smelly." And I'm like, I'm not talking to you. And yet I didn't think much of it, but it did kind of sting a little deep, and it got me thinking about, and I'm trying to get an idea of maybe this people-pleasing aspect of like, oh man, like maybe I am. So I started, running every morning. Like my dad was already like walking, and he had big strides, so I could like run while he was walking. And then I made sure I put deodorant on a bazillion times, and my wife will be like, well, maybe you were smelly. And I'm like, well, maybe I was. Yeah.
What kid isn't smelly when they're
Right, in some respects.
Yeah.
But I took my showers. I did those things, but I thought I was good. But either way, these were same girls. I think, not to be haters, but I think both of them got pregnant in high school, and life was not good to them, eventually. But I digress. And so I started doing that, and then really it was like after about a month and a half, I had this I felt like a feeling, now I'd say maybe it was the Spirit speaking to me of like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, why do you care so much about what these people are saying about you? And so then I took a moment, I thought through it, and basketball was about to start up, and I was hoping to make the basketball team. I said 6th, 7th, and 8th. It was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. Sorry. I was a little off on my grades, but this was 7th grade for me. And so, I was going to try out for the basketball team. one of the only people not doing travel basketball who was trying to get there. I said, you know what? I'm going to keep running, but so that I can be in good shape when I get for basketball. Like, that's a good reason. Like, not because I'm concerned about someone's going to say something to me, walking down the hallways.
Yeah.
And that was a moment, really, just as we'd call it, a Kairos moment.
Kairos,
that
yeah.
really, adjusted my life. Right? You remember Kairos moments?
I do remember those. Yeah.
Describe it for the people.
Do
you know it that well?
I'm sad to say I don't remember it completely, but I do remember when we did a study.
Yeah.
What a Kairos moment. Yeah.
Yeah, a moment in time.
A moment in time that changes something, or it catches your attention, and you're like, "Whoa,
yes,
I need to go."
Yes, you need to go enter into the. Remember what we entered into?
No, I don't
do that. The learning circle.
Okay, I remember that now.
Remember learning circle?
I do remember learning. Just gotta remind me, man.
Yeah, well, that's what we're here for. Reminders. Repent and believe. What is God telling me? What am I going to do about it? We've talked about it, on the show before, but that was a Kairos moment that I didn't know at the time, and maybe didn't fully do the circle of observe, reflect, but we had some of that. Observe, reflect. I didn't really discuss it with anybody. It was more just, in myself and my own things that I was, talking through it. But it was at that, like that was 7th grade when I didn't stop caring about people, but I stopped caring about the opinions that didn't make sense. Mm-hmm. And that could be, a difficult way to do things, but Frank says, you're not pizza. Which is like the idea that everybody loves pizza.
Good analogy.
Even though my son didn't like pizza for a while. He does now. But everyone likes pizza, right? You like pizza, TC?
Yeah, certain ones.
What's your favorite pizza?
Bacon and cheese.
Bacon and cheese?
Or the breakfast pizza. Where I live, they have breakfast pizza.
Ooh, from Casey's?
Good. Casey's, yeah. I'm sure you have it here.
Actually, we don't have them here.
I'll say where we have Casey's are big.
There's one over in Ohio. I think
their breakfast pizza is amazing. They have a taco pizza too, but I mean the breakfast is amazing.
Pizza
or chicken, bacon, and ranch. Casey's, man. I mean, I've come to love gas station.
That's right. If you don't know, it's a gas station.
It's a gas station. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, it is. You're not the only one who said that.
Delicious.
Yeah. No, it is a good thing. So again, we're not pizza, so it only makes sense that we can't please everyone at every moment. And so, a couple thought processes of this, like, being a people pleaser will attract damaged people into your life who will end up turning on you and creating havoc in your world. So if we're always trying to people please, we're always trying to make it, and here in a second, I'll give some like signs of what it looks like, and then we can kind of like, talk about it a little bit, see if you agree, disagree, because eventually you'll find themselves perpetually defeated and discontented. Like, your people pleaser watching this, you're going like, oh yeah, I felt this. Now, to get out of it is a little bit difficult, but like I felt that, where I'm always trying to do things for people and no one says thank you, no one appreciates it, no one does anything. So you separate. You feel discontented, you feel defeated, as in like I can't do anything, right? I mean,
I think we've all been there, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, human nature, trying to defeat that beast. But I think something you helped me a long time ago, I'm straight as it's like you slap me in the face, basically. We all have moments. Some moments are longer in other people's lives where it affects them. But you go through something like that. But I keep this for me. It was something you said. You might not remember it, but that's not important. Important thing is I remember it.
Right.
The analogy is if you're looking, if it bothers you that it wasn't reciprocated, or they didn't give you a thank you or a pat on the back, and that affected you, then you were doing it for the wrong reason in the first place. Mm-hmm. And ever since that comment was made 3 or 4, a couple years ago when we were doing some studying together, I was going through some stuff because I was that guy, little things,
Yeah.
But that comment just slapped me in the face and woke me up. Like, hey, grow up. I prefer when people just tell me straight up, hey, this is what you're doing now. Earlier, no, little things affected And a lot of people think that, again, unintentionally, intentionally, we all feel that way as human nature. You can try to fight it, but inside everybody deals with that some way, some form. But that was a comment that woke me up. It just said, hey, what you're doing is if you're looking, oh, that didn't get a thanks or it's not being reciprocated, then how you were doing, and that affected you.
Right.
And it affected you where now it's hurting you and you're being all, you can edit this out. I like to say butt hurt about it. Because my buddy told me that you're butt hurt about it. I've loved that term ever since I had it. So I self-talk. I'm like, stop being butt hurt. But no, if you were looking for that, then you were doing it for the wrong reason in the first place.
Right.
So ever since now, I challenge, that stuck with me. I mean, I think that was great going back to coaching is that you've been through it, you find different people. A lot of people are going to say a lot of different things to help you get through stuff, but it might not all affect you the same way, but you find little things that stick with you. Mm-hmm. And then you put them in your back pocket and God puts different people in your lives and you take a little bit from each person and what you might say, it's like raising kids. How you handle one kid might not handle, but you still use the same. And what I took from mom and dad here, I took from mom. Everything's different. The same thing. God puts different peoples in your lives and help you get through scenarios and life adversity. And that was something for me was just, if you're looking for, thanks and all that, which it feels good. Let's just be honest. Of course. It feels like, but at the same time, if it affects you and it starts hurting you and you're the only one losing sleep over it, then you probably weren't doing it for the right reason anyway. You should have been doing it just because that's what you felt God was calling you to do, and you should focus on that and not so much how people responded.
Right, because there's a sense of lack of self-worth, ever so slightly that creeps in. Yeah. I mean, for intensity, it's very large. Yeah. Many have this lack of self-worth. They may not see it as that.
Correct.
But it's like, I need others to build me up. Mm-hmm. Again, 7th grade, that was that bit when all of a sudden everything had been happy-go-lucky, leading up to that moment, and now there's some haters coming into the world. It was like, whoa, I didn't realize how much that I was trying to maybe please people on some things or want to make everyone happy in that type of world, to be, accepted and deep down, use it as their way to be loved, even though like that's not even the best way to get love is like do things for people and then, receive that love. It's always like in the movies, the dude who has tons of money and they go spend it on everybody and everyone's partying with them until they don't have the money.
Yeah.
And then there's nobody there, and it's just them with themselves. And the parable of the prodigal son, has a little bit of that in him, partying, having fun. He took his inheritance, all great things, and then all of a sudden it's all gone. He has nothing. Nobody's there. He's working with the pigs.
But then you remember that story. We so focus on the son that went away. Sometimes we forget about the story. Can also focus on the son that stayed and how he reacted when the son came back and how the father treated him. And again, it goes back to, wait a minute, I was doing all these things for you and now you're showing all this love. Sometimes, in my opinion, that story, we almost forget how the story can also focus on the son that stayed and how his reaction to his brother coming back and now his dad. So,
no, absolutely. I think that's probably one of my favorite. Like when I get into that story, one of my favorite parts is you get somebody who was there the whole time and he's looking at dad like, "Well, you'd never do." Like when the son comes back and they celebrate, there's a whole nother part of that story within there is like having people in your life not based off of what you have done for them, but who just love you for who you are, whether that's in your darkness or that's in your brightness.
Right.
They want to see you grow and mature and become better, but they're still going to love you no matter what in the midst of it. And then you have someone who's there the whole time. It's like, well, you never did this for me. It's like, dude, you've been with me the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, did you ever ask? Well, no. What? Did you ever want? Well, no. Well, then I'm not in the words, I'm not sticking mind reader over here.
No, I love it. I've known you a long time, and that was something you always said. You're like, how do you know unless you ask? And so that's always
Right.
but now as someone I know in my life, it's how you ask.
Yes.
it's asking, but they're like there's also that it's how you go about asking for it. But now I always remember that, like, because some people don't want to ask, they feel like they're a burden and this and that, but it's not. It's just something that, again, that was something you always stuck in my head, is like,
Because when you're not concerned about, because I like how you put that, where it's how you ask. Because when you're not concerned about pleasing everybody, you're not afraid to ask a question.
right.
Now, you're not doing it to be upsetting or to frustrate people. You're just doing it like the other day. One of our kids wanted to do something with a friend, and it was like, well, go ask them. Well, I don't want to, like, they'll feel like they have to. So, well, you can't confirm, or deny what they're going to think. If you have the right intentions of, like, here's something, like, which is something I needed to get better at for some other things in my life that I need to ask for. But it's like, if you go, it's like they can say no, and that should be fine. Like, you're the one asking.
There's the key word. It should be fine. Like, if you have to accept that, okay, if I'm going to be willing to ask, then
Right.
you have to be at a stage to where you're willing to accept maybe the answer you're not willing to hear. And if the no or that answer affects you negatively, and then it sends you down a rabbit hole, we could go out another rant.
Right.
Maybe you shouldn't be
Well,
asking.
and I think that's when I think of, these are snippets. So if you're hearing this, it's like these are just snippets of that people pleasing concept that just creeps into each and every one of us. Because some of us are like, I'm not a people pleaser. I don't care what nobody says to me. And it's like, well, yeah, even though TC over here anymore doesn't care what anyone says to him, he still has a way of going about his business because he's a believer, because of the way he's going about it.
I would
I'm
say,
not just trying to
no,
hate on all
the word
people.
care, you mature. Hopefully we're all maturing. Just life experience. Let's go down spiritually. We're growing.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, I can't speak for anybody else, but spiritually mature, it does affect you, but you learn how to handle that effectiveness. Like, you're not immature in how you handle it, and you grow from it. It doesn't affect you in a negative way. You embrace it, or if it does, you have the moment. You don't let it continue to take you down that road.
Yeah.
And so, again, it's just like getting back to the pitching thing we talked about earlier. Experience is the best one. You're either going to grow from experience or you're not. It's either going to affect you negatively. And even if it does affect you negatively, you don't allow it to draw out.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you're mature enough to catch up to say, hey, this is affecting me. I need to find a way to, change course.
And I think having people in your life
Correct.
is a beautiful thing. And whether that's, like, to that example, if you want, when adversity hits and when you're pitching, and you can't get past the third inning that you gave up runs, and you're trying to, but you just can't get back at throwing strikes or be able to pound the zone or get people out, well, then if you're not listening to the advice, like, you need, or if no one's giving you anything, like, you need to go ask for it. And that might, in a regular world, and there it'd be coaches, teammates, and those things. But in the natural world, the regular world, as I always call it, that we live in, it might be seeking out a counselor, someone who has a greater understanding and experience, whether it's, the trauma in your life that's causing some things or whatever. Like, because here's some signs of that Frank kind of put out in his book of what it looks like when we kind of see some of this people pleasing. It was, you'll hide your real opinions and outwardly agree with others. So you don't actually disagree with people. You always agree with them outside, but even on the inside, you might actually disagree. This is a big one. You got a friend of ours we always hate on with this, but you over apologize. I'm sorry.
There's always that person.
I'm sorry. There is always that person. And when I start hearing that, I go people pleaser. Like, and that's the big one we think about.
Now, I'll intervene on that one.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes in their minds, like, they just could be people pleasing. How should I word this?
I don't know. How are you going to word this?
Well, give me a second. Because I understand where you're coming. We've all seen those people.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
I don't know. I wouldn't all categorize them into just nonstop people pleaser.
Well,
That's my opinion.
No, I'm not saying they're nonstop people pleasers. I'm just going the fact that like that is an aspect of their people pleasing, because if you're coming in and it's always like, even for things that's not your fault,
correct. I get that.
you're just going, oh, I'm sorry. For what?
Yeah.
Like we were over, like, you don't need to apologize.
No, I get that.
For those, and like that's where I'm at. Like, yeah, everyone who's apologized, and there are some where there are moments where you need to get better at apologizing.
Yeah.
With your spouse, at times it's like, yeah, I should apologize, even when maybe it's not my fault, right? I mean,
every marriage is different, man. I can't speak, so
you can't speak for everyone. There's got to be a moment when you're like, you know what? She's fired up. I didn't mean for this to be a problem. I didn't necessarily feel like I did anything, but it's probably right for me to apologize.
Could be. Yeah. Could be.
Never. Well, we'll ask your wife. See what she has to say about it.
Yeah.
But that's one where I, in the world that I've been around, the people that I've seen, when they do something, because as a more mature person, you notice that like you didn't need to apologize for that.
Correct.
And even in the business world, it says more and more of like, stop.
But at the same time, if you don't think they need to apologize, but in their mind, they might actually felt like they really offended you or they did wrong. And so they're apologizing. And then as we go to we won't go down that rabbit hole, but there's moments where maybe as a spouse, you think you need to apologize because in your mind, you felt like that was something that happened or occurred where you felt like you were in the wrong, this and that.
Yeah.
But your other spouse, like, no, it didn't, because they have a different mindset. So it's hard to understand, because in that person's mindset, they felt like they did wrong. But then the other person's like, no, you didn't do wrong, because maybe they're not as sensitive as
True.
and then if the one time they didn't apologize to someone who might be a little more sensitive, and then they apologize and it caused a fiasco, now in their minds like, well, I just need to apologize every time, because you never know who's feeling what.
Well, and that gets to the next point, is you feel responsible how others feel.
Yeah, you can fall down that one.
So, but you did make a really good point. I like you put your thoughts together on that one, where that individual, because that's real. In Fight Club, this week, well, technically week 3 or whatever, we were talking about forgiveness and going and asking for forgiveness from somebody who maybe they don't even recognize that you had done anything or forgot about it or whatever, because it's for you at those times. But when I'm thinking about the people who just consistently say sorry,
I get
sorry,
you
and sorry,
I understand that.
it's like you open the door and the door shut. Like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And then it's like you walk 2 steps and they like slow down a little bit, and you kind of, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, sorry for what? Like, can you just live your life, please? Like, you can't be sorry for everything. And usually it hits on, the other stuff that goes along with kind of this idea of people pleasing, of where.
Here's one for you. Would you rather somebody be overly apologetic or someone who doesn't care at all?
Well, it depends on how it goes. It's a great question. Yeah. If it's the over-apologetic person that I picture, I'd rather have the person who
doesn't care.
And not like doesn't care about people, because it's the same thing. Like, not that doesn't care about people, but still like has empathy, but just isn't every single moment trying to apologize for the world when something happens.
Yeah.
Where I feel like on the other side, it is they are apologizing for every little thing of like, oh, did that make you uncomfortable? I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't mean to say it that way. Like, oh, did I hurt your feelings? When it's like the person who doesn't care is not the person who, this is my preface of it, is the one who like doesn't not care how you feel, but is not losing sleep. Like when they know that they've said something that has resonance, it's like, well, I can't help how you feel.
Sorry, I can't handle. As someone who said, you might be the only one losing sleep over it, and so those are ones. I mean, again, every individual has to be honest with themselves, and at some point, speaking for me, there was, I used to be that guy. Like I tried to have too many. I wanted everybody to be my friend,
Mhm.
or I tried to, and at some point I had to grow and mature that it's okay. Like if you don't have a deep relationship with every single individual that you come across, and just focus on the ones that God puts in your lives. And as long as that person has someone that they can go talk to and open up with, it might not be you. Even if you're there and you want to be that individual, it might be somebody else. And you, again, let's go back, can't get butthurt about it.
Mhm.
As long as they have somebody there, and if it ever becomes you, then you're there for them and it's great. But as long as they have somebody, and just focus on the ones that has reciprocated and God has put in your lives, and it might not even be the one that you ever thought it was going to be.
True.
I've been in that situation where you're growing, you're trying to have spiritual relationships, mentorships, and that stuff with individuals, and then it's not going the way maybe you think it is, but then all of a sudden God puts someone in your life that you never even thought, that's not who I was thinking it was going to be.
Right. No, those are good points, and just you find it impossible to say no when you're asked for something. Like you always have to be the yes person.
Yep, seen those.
And then it leads to, usually feeling upset or burnout. You see that in the church.
See that a lot. I've talked to some people and they get burned out, and I'm like, just say no.
Right.
And they're like, well, I can't, because they think but again, it's not going down this rabbit hole, but when I first got married, I was getting ready to celebrate my 10th anniversary.
Congratulations.
But that love language thing, I don't know I can't remember a whole bunch about it, but you do that study.
Yeah, 5 love languages.
Yeah, and
we talked about it on here before.
But mine is more. At first, I was young. I was denied. I was like, whatever. I don't make sense, but it is. I like to do things for people. That's my love language, is doing things for people.
Yeah.
And sometimes someone who doesn't understand, like, why do you do all these things for? But that's my thing. It's not so much time. It's more a work related thing like that, where some, like my wife is not. So learning that balance. But sometimes I think some people I see in the church, they're always doing, that's their calling. Like they feel like they're giving back to the church, but then you hear them say they're burnt out. And I'm like, well, you can say no. But then they're worried about, well, they'll be viewed upon. Because if everybody's saying no, at some point you're not going to have, which is true, you won't have any volunteers like doing stuff.
Right.
And so, but if it's the same people over and over and over, and then they feel pressured, I go, to me, that's different. Like if you're feeling pressured into doing it, then that's not really.
But you look at it, is it the pressure they're putting on themselves or outward pressure because there is nobody? And so that's that. Again, I'm trying to hit on, like, yeah, there's intensity of people pleasing that we all talk about, and then these little hints of this unbelief of, people pleasing that still suckers us in. Yeah. Like that's a great example of it. And the need people to praise you to feel relaxed and content. You hit on that earlier, was the idea you love doing things. Mm-hmm. So like your love language is, if people do stuff for you, you accept that, you like that. And then like that's what you also enjoy doing. But you had to learn, which you already talked about, that this is what I love to do. It's not necessarily everyone else's love language. Correct. So I have to do it because I love doing it, not just because I need them to say, oh, that was great. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Well,
now, should they? Yes.
If we're being honest, I mean, you could put 10 people in a room and they'll disagree, but most men are not men that reach out. I mean, let's just, they're not. They have their group, but like if I see you, I see you. That kind of mentality. But every now and then you have a guy he's the one that reaches out. And so then that's that point where that was me. And sometimes if it's not reciprocated, that's where you get butthurt about it. And so then you have to learn, hey, man, and you did, like I said, you were the one that told me a long time ago was.
Yeah, because you were mad at me because I didn't respond.
Oh, you stink at it, but you've gotten better. But that was the thing, was like as you grow spiritually mature, that if that's what God called you to do, that's your mentality, then don't allow Satan to use what other people who aren't doing it, because it's not their mentality and this and that. Don't allow Satan to use that to stop you from doing what God's calling you to do. And that was something that you and I had talked about. And again, that was another thing that it was a slap in the, it was great because I needed it, because that was like, hey, don't let Satan take your blessing that God's called you to do. And again, I was worried about, I was like, I reach out, nobody, does all that. So it took time to grow
sure.
and mature. And so, like I said, this is good. I mean, but every man has to be honest, every individual, not just man, every individual, if they're going to be honest, but at some point you have to come in and be honest with yourself that you're struggling with something before you can fix it.
Right. And I think that is a hard thing in general is people, well, I think sometimes we don't see it as a problem.
Correct.
And so we just continue on the pathway and keep getting frustrated with others because they're not doing what I need them to do, rather than observing, reflecting, and then ultimately discussing. Like that, I mean, that's what helps for most people, isn't the spot that they skip. They don't discuss, they just speak in disgustedness. Like they're upset. They're just like, hey, he won't do this, they don't do that, she doesn't do this. They don't just actually discuss, well, tell me the situation. The people don't usually ask, like, well, give me a little sense of what took place.
Well, it's not as someone I heard and is great. It's not the message you're delivering, it's the presentation of the message. So, I mean, you might have good intent and someone needs to hear that message, but the way you're delivering that message, they're not hearing it. They're just hearing the tone, and so you're defeating the whole purpose of whether that person is a little oversensitive or whatever. That's not your job. Is to, if you want to get the message across, like coaching. We've all had coaches where it's the same message, but the way they're delivering that message, you're either going to block it out or not. And like, I didn't get anything out of it, but then the other guy comes and has a great way of presenting that message, and he gets it across to you. That was a great thing for me personally with someone, it's not so much the message that you're trying to bring, it's just how you're delivering it.
Yeah, which is great. And I think that hits with all these kind of things is within this journey, it is about how can we be honest with ourselves?
Correct.
How can we have some decent self-evaluation and maybe some others that we trust to give us the real opinions, not the ones who just want to say yes to us.
Correct. That comes with building relationships. I mean, if you met somebody and they just start chastising you, like,
that's a little too quick.
Hold on, man. We haven't built a relationship.
It's too early for that.
It takes some time. I respect what you're saying, but we haven't gotten to that level of where I'm going to heed your advice, and not trying to be rude, but we got to build that. Yeah. And so
trust is not there yet.
But again, when the person you do trust, because some people just don't we all have egos, whether we believe it or not, small egos, big egos. So when someone comes to you and addresses a problem, it's just like, I don't have a problem. It's never me. And so hopefully as we're growing and maturing in life experience spiritually, you can accept that. But again, like you said, it's how the person that you're talking to, you trust him and you have that relationship, but are you willing to accept that, I probably do and I need to work on it? How can you help me work on it?
No, I think that's great. And we'll of course, we're going always. I get so excited. We go longer than I want to.
Oh, this is time?
Well, it's got, I mean, we're about a little over 50 minutes.
Really, already? Oh, wow.
Time flies when you're having fun, TC. Like I told you, you're like, but
I'm not sure if I went. Yeah, maybe.
You did just right there.
I did right there. Touche.
But again, all these things, when we think about it, this idea of this people pleasing, it unfortunately leads us to either burnout or compromise, or depression, and eventually even defeat, and so it's like, I have all of these. I have moments of these, even still today, where I'll go be a part. Like when I first came to Fight Club group, this round 22, like I was with the leaders, and I'm talking a bit, which I can talk just fine, and I can not talk. Like I can go either way, but just had some things was saying, and I walk away going like, oh man, did I say too much? Like did I leave them? And then but then my mind isn't like, oh, so I hope that they'll like me. Was I too much because I was trying to take over in some respects?
I get that.
So it was more of those things. Sometimes it can seem the same concept, but if we can change the same way that I didn't stop running, when I was in 7th grade, I kept running, but the reason I ran was for a different reason.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't because I'm trying to prove to these people that I'm not fat and I'm going to make you happy by having the perfect body when I come back. It was like, no, I no longer care about that. But actually running was good for me to help me to get to where I need to be. So I just had to renew my mind, within that.
Correct. I think that's the biggest. And going back to what we said at the beginning, to go full circle with Roy, was the better athletes always can make, and you can speak from it. That's the difference when I was seeing at the college level or the professional level, guys that can make it is who can make the end game adjustment quicker. That's because when you're on the mound or in the batting box, you have all these, you have coaches and all that, but you're your best coach. I mean, you're the one that has to make the adjustment in the batter's box quickly or on the mound quickly. Just as in life, like you said, when you were talking, like, all right, was I doing it with this or was it more for this? You get to that point and you can adjust, self-adjust. No, it wasn't that thought process. It was this one. Okay, if it's this one, now I'm going to grow from that and, adapt instead of going down the rabbit hole of, no, because you constantly think negatively this way. Now we're growing. No, it wasn't so much this, but it was like that. So now I can adjust.
Yeah. No, and I found these things online that other people had kind of put together. And so I'll just kind of read them, and maybe I'll put them up on the board too, or the whatever. But it was kind of doing this kindness versus people pleasing. And it was kindness is rooted in desire. Like, I intrinsically want to do this, and choice. Like, I could say yes or no, but I'm choosing to say yes. So it's kind of all in your corner. It's your decision. You've done it. Like, I want to do this. As we've talked about within this. And people pleasing is rooted more in fear, where I'm doing this because I'm afraid of what will happen if I don't, what people say, what they'll do, or a transaction. I'm giving you this so that you will give me this, well, safety, attention, love, etc. Or a loss aversion. Like, I'm doing this because I'm afraid I'll lose you if I don't, which I know that's a lot, like fear in relationships and stuff. And then obligation, like, I'm doing this to avoid feeling guilty. I mean, a little bit of that church analogy, like, wow, it's pressure, but it's like, even if no one gave me pressure, I'm not being a good Christian if I don't do this. It's like, what? Like, if you're feeling burnt out, like, take a deep breath. Like, you want to do it, do it. If you don't feel like that's the time, like, that's another issue for you to deal with. But don't just do it because you feel it. I'd rather you step away, think through why or why not you want or don't want to do this, and be like, oh, it's just me being really, really selfish. Yeah. Okay, well, then we can step back into it. But if, like, that's the, the one thing, then, let's not do that. And here's a couple, one thing we could do. Hopefully you've heard some things throughout that would kind of like help you in this journey of those snippets of people pleasing or the intensity, or if you need to go see a counselor, please do that. I got, a friend who's really good, that everyone could go, hang out with her, talk to her, but make a list of your core values. Like, who are you? Who are you? Who? Kind of figure out those things, what it is, write that down, and then make a commitment to stay true to those values. And that might take some time to figure out who am I? What am I really trying to do? What am I trying to be? And honestly, practice saying no with grace.
I like that.
Yeah, you kind of hinted on that a little bit as you're saying these things. Like, if you're going to say no, it's okay, but just do it. If you're going to approach somebody, it's okay, but just do it with a little bit of, love and gentleness at times.
Well, again, it's flying, adjusting on the fly. One person, you can say it this way and it's not going to affect them.
Right.
But knowing that if I go to this person, I'm going to say the same thing, I might have to adjust the way I'm going to say that. And that is on you. Like, you have to be willing to do that.
Yes.
So I'm going to go back real quick. I know we got time, not enough time, but my buddy told me, and it stuck with me, was you hear that, well, if you love me, you'll do this. And I remember when I first got married, he said, you hear a lot of people in relationships say, well, he goes, it's not, no, I'm doing this if I love you. I'm doing this because I love you. And that's always stuck with me. He was like, that's the mindset. It was like, I'm not doing this if I love you, I'm going to do this. No, because I'm in love with you or because I love you, this is why I do this. And that's always because he says that word right there switches that whole dynamic.
Right, because I could be looking at when I quit baseball was doing it because my wife didn't ask me to, but I could say I'm doing it because my family's asked me to quit, which would make sense of why a couple of other people said, well, don't do it just for your family, because they would not be able to say, I'm doing this because I love you. I'm doing this because of you. He's like, and then down the road, you're going to be like, when they don't appreciate it, exactly.
Yeah. Turns into resent.
Right.
You might not intentionally always bring it up, but it's going to stick in the back of your head. It's going to be in your back pocket. And then all of a sudden, when a disagreement comes up and we get emotional and we speak off of emotion, you always bring that out. And then it's
don't
like,
you know what I did
that's
for
the dagger
you?
right there. I slammed. I got you. Like mic drop. Bam, got you on that one. And then you're always holding it against your family or your spouse or somebody.
Yeah, or anybody. Yeah, in so many different spots. Or our players. There's certain times where I see coaches will hold it up against the guy, and it's like, dude, that happened before. Like, get over it, okay? Like, don't let that be the thing. Let something else be the one that holds it back. But I love how you said that, because that's it. I quit baseball because I love my family. And out of that love is what it does. So whatever happens, it's okay. Like I'm more than satisfied with that decision that I made. And here's 4 habits that somebody else talked about, 4 habits that you might want to try and avoid. And the first is don't apologize. I mean, in many ways, if you can start off by not apologizing, now then you'll find times where it probably is right to apologize. But if you've had trouble with it, stop apologizing.
Now, I think that's key if you have a problem.
Well, for sure. But I think you'll find out, like, if it has become an issue. And you know when it's become an issue.
Yeah.
So then
you'll know if you're that person.
Correct.
Because some people might hear, oh, he said don't apologize, so I'm not apologizing for anything. No. Let's back up there. That's not what he said.
No, it is. We know the people in your life who every single moment are just like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for what?
Yeah.
I was acting weird this morning. What?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice. So you know what? You need to stop apologizing until you understand what apologies really mean.
I like that. That's better. That's
I
better.
like that. Yeah.
Like there's somebody out there. He says stop apologizing. Well, one, you never apologized in the first place, so don't keep doing what you're not doing.
Well, so then the other one is don't over-explain. You see that a lot, and it's like, well, I was, and I was trying to, and it was like, don't over-explain. This is an interesting one. Don't offer an alternative time if you don't like the person, place, or activity. Like if you really, really don't want to do it,
just say it.
Like, just say you don't want to do it, and then go from there. And maybe your reason is not good, but just go from there. And the final that they would talk about, and there's of course countless ways. There's tons of studies and all this type of things. Is don't rush your decision if you get pushback. So if you get pushback, usually the manipulators, the predators, as I call them, and when we do predators, protectors, and possums, from one of my favorite books, Rare Leadership. When you're the predator, you're trying to figure out ways to get these possums to do what you want them to do, and so the predator takes advantage of the people pleaser. And so you get pushback, and I'm going to press some buttons to try and get you to do what I want you to do. And I think that happens in the church world. It happens everywhere. School, PTO, all these different places. But we got to, again, if you're feeling that, don't rush it. Don't let them push you into it. And eventually, hopefully, then you'll have people around you that can guide you that, oh, yeah, it is probably something you should do. And then you'll be like, all right, I think I'm going to do this. And so
just remember, it's not going to happen overnight.
Oh, yeah.
You try these things, you continue. Like some people, they want instant gratification. I tried it. It's not working. I'm not doing this. Well,
Yes.
it takes time. You got to build your way. You got to train yourself up to continue. You're going to have times where you fail, and just know that you just can continue to keep working towards it.
Yes.
But it's just not going to happen.
I always say
overnight.
My people-pleasing concept is backdoor narcissism. Because in the end, you're without thinking about it, even though there's some difficulties within it, your goal is that then people will look to you or say something about you.
Correct.
Is where the frustration comes, which is that.
As we go back to what you hinted, I said a long time ago that affected me. why are you doing what you're doing? You better be, you're doing it for the wrong reason if that's your whole purpose for doing it.
Yeah.
And again, that's always, personally, that's what's always stuck with me.
Well, you know, you can't be all things to everyone. So don't be a people pleaser. Thankful for Mr. TC being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. You're great. This was awesome. So I hope you enjoyed it too. Tune in next week. Back in. Thanks so much for listening.